Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. Today, we're diving into one of the most profound realities of our existence, the journey of the soul after death. Imagine this. A day will come when each of us will be laid to rest, wrapped in a simple shroud, surrounded by our loved ones as they pray for our peaceful passage. But what happens after that? What does the soul experience in those moments? Join me as we explore this powerful, eye-opening journey that awaits every one of us, reflecting on the immense importance of the life we live right now. Let's begin this journey together, and may it serve as a reminder to prepare our hearts for that ultimate meeting with our Creator. When we die, a profound journey begins for our soul. It's a journey that every single one of us will inevitably embark upon, whether we are ready or not. The moment the soul departs from the body is unlike anything we can imagine in this life. There's a separation, a moment where the soul realizes it is leaving the physical form that it has inhabited for so long. It's a moment of realization, a departure from the world we have known, where our family, friends, comforts, and daily struggles existed. The soul leaves the body behind, but it doesn't disappear into nothingness. It continues to exist. It's almost like the beginning of a new chapter, a transition from one state to another. As the soul ascends, it looks down upon its former home, witnessing the events that follow its departure. It watches as family and friends gather, hearts heavy with sorrow. People may be crying, some may be in silent reflection, others perhaps remembering the moments they shared with you. The soul is there, seeing all of this unfold, feeling the love and the grief surrounding its passing. Then, the janazah, the funeral, begins. The body, now lifeless, is carefully wrapped in a simple white shroud, free of adornments, just as Islam teaches. The soul observes this wrapping, witnessing the tenderness and care with which it is prepared. It's a stark reminder that in death, we leave behind all our material possessions, stripped down to the most basic form. This simplicity speaks volumes. No wealth, no status, no belongings accompany us into this new journey. The soul sees the body, its earthly vessel, being readied for its final resting place, and it becomes acutely aware of the fragility and temporary nature of life. As the funeral procession moves forward, carrying the body to the grave, the soul accompanies it. It watches as people, your loved ones, friends, maybe even strangers who came to pray for you, carry the weight of your body. It's a solemn moment. You hear the recitations of prayers, the whispered du'as for mercy and forgiveness. You see their faces, some tear-streaked, some solemn, each reflecting on the reality that this moment brings. The soul witnesses everything, each tear, each prayer, and it experiences the gravity of what is happening. When the body is finally placed on the ground, just above the grave, it's a significant moment. There lies your body, wrapped in its shroud, awaiting its descent into the earth. For a moment, there is stillness, a pause, as if time itself is acknowledging the weight of what is about to occur. Then, the process continues. The people surrounding the grave prepare to lower the body into it. They handle it with care, knowing this is the final parting, the moment where the physical connection with this world truly ends. And the soul watches all of this. It sees itself being laid to rest, and as the body is placed into the grave, the soul descends as well. It moves toward the grave, reunited with the body in that confined, dark space. It is a surreal experience to see one's body, which had once been filled with life, laughter, and emotion, now lying still in the earth. Yet there is no denial, no resistance. This is the natural course, the fate of every living being. As the body settles into the grave, the people begin to gather handfuls of earth. Slowly, they start placing the dirt into the grave, each handful a gesture of finality. The soul is there, feeling each clump of earth as it falls upon the body. It's an experience unlike any other. You feel the weight of the earth, not physically but spiritually, as it piles up, covering you bit by bit. And with every handful, the separation from the world above grows more tangible. The soul hears the murmurs of prayers and the sound of the earth being shoveled, the rhythmic thud of the soil hitting the ground. It watches as loved ones take turns, their faces strained with the reality of the moment. Some of them hesitate, their hands trembling as they reach for the earth. Others, eyes closed, offer a silent prayer before dropping the dirt. This is the last act they can do for you, and it is heavy with meaning. You witness their gestures, their expressions of love, loss, and hope for your peaceful rest. Gradually, the grave fills up. The earth covers you entirely, sealing you within. And in that moment, the reality of your solitude sinks in. The soul is now fully enclosed within the grave, reunited with the body in a dark, silent space. The people outside finish their task. Some stand in prayer for a moment longer, while others begin to slowly walk away. You hear their footsteps, the crunching of gravel and the rustling of leaves as they make their way back to their lives, leaving you behind. This is the beginning of your new existence, an existence where your consciousness continues, even though your physical form lies motionless. The soul is there, fully aware of its surroundings, yet separated from the physical senses it once relied upon. It's a state of profound awareness, a kind of consciousness that is different from anything experienced in the world above. The first moments of solitude. After the burial, something profound begins to take place. You are now alone in the grave, with the sound of footsteps slowly fading away. It's a unique moment, unlike any other. The soul, still very much conscious, becomes acutely aware of the solitude it is now surrounded by. You hear the last shovelfuls of earth hitting the ground above, and then silence. A darkness envelops you, not the kind you experience when you close your eyes at night, but a deep, still almost tangible darkness. The reality of being alone settles in. The laughter, voices, and warmth of your loved ones from moments ago are now gone. They've returned to their lives, carrying with them the weight of their loss. You, on the other hand, remain enclosed in the earth. Your senses are different now. It's not like the physical sensations you had in life, but more like an awareness of your surroundings that is hard to describe. You feel the presence of the grave around you, a narrow space that has become your new home. And in this quietness, as the soul adjusts to its new state, a new experience unfolds. Two figures approach, the angels Munkar and Nakir. They don't come with menace but with a purpose. They are here to test you, to ask you questions that are crucial to the next part of your journey. The sight of these angels is awe-inspiring. They are not like any beings you've encountered before. Their presence fills the grave, and you sense the gravity of the moment. Then, the questioning begins. The angels ask you 3 questions, simple yet profound. What is your deen? Who is your prophet? And who is your Lord? These questions might sound familiar, ones that we think we've known the answers to since childhood. But here, in this state, the answers aren't something you can simply recite. It's not about giving the right words from memory. It's much deeper. The answers are drawn from the essence of your soul, from what your heart truly held onto during your life. In these moments, the soul tries to respond, not with words or thoughts, but with the truth that resided in it. It's a remarkable experience. If you lived a life sincerely trying to embody Islam, striving for faith and righteousness, those answers will naturally flow from your heart. They will come out as a reflection of your true self. However, if Islam was only on the surface, a label you carried but did not embody, then your soul struggles. The answers won't come easily because they weren't part of your heart's reality. It's in this space, in the quiet of the grave, that the authenticity of your faith is laid bare. There are no pretenses, no hiding behind actions or words. It is just you, your soul, and the reality of what you lived for. The angels, Munkar and Nakir, await your responses, and what happens next depends entirely on the state of your heart. The test of the grave. This is the test that many of us believe we are ready for. We go through life learning about our faith, memorizing the basics. What is Islam? Who is the Prophet? Who is Allah? But in the grave, the test is different from anything we've experienced. Here, it's not about the words you can recite, the knowledge you have in your head, or the arguments you can make. It's about the core of your being, your heart, and what it truly held. In life, it's easy to think, I'll be fine. I'm a Muslim. I know the answers. But the scholars have taught us something profound. These answers don't come from the tongue. They aren't verbal responses you can prepare for like an exam. Instead, the answers emerge from the essence of who you were, from how sincerely you embraced your faith. Your heart will speak in that moment. And if your heart was filled with the light of Iman, striving to practice Islam sincerely, the answers will naturally manifest. This reality is both humbling and sobering. Many of us might have lived with a sense of security, thinking our identity as Muslims alone is enough. But the grave doesn't care about labels. It cares about what you embodied. If your life was spent chasing worldly pleasures without concern for your faith, if you didn't strive to truly practice Islam, then Islam was never really in your heart. And when the angels ask, your heart may falter. But if you lived a life of striving, even if imperfectly, then the state of your heart will reflect that. Nobody is asking for perfection. Islam is not about being flawless. It's about the effort, the striving to submit to Allah, to follow His guidance, and to emulate the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to the best of your ability. It's about the intention behind your actions, the sincerity in your prayers, and the effort you put into living a life of faith. In the grave, this striving becomes your strength. When the angels ask, "What is your deen?" your heart responds, "Islam." When they ask, "Who is your prophet?" your heart declares, "Muhammad, peace be upon him." And when they ask, "Who is your Lord?" your heart, filled with love and awe, responds, "Allah." If these answers come naturally, you pass the test, and the peace that follows is beyond anything words can describe. The reward for correct answers. If you pass this test, an incredible reward awaits you in the grave. The angels, having heard your responses, step back, and what happens next is a series of divine blessings. The first of these is that your grave will be furnished from Jannah. Imagine that. The dark, confining space you were just in is suddenly transformed. It's no longer a cold, lonely place. It becomes filled with comfort, warmth, and tranquility from paradise itself. Your surroundings change, and you feel a sense of peace washing over you. Next, you are clothed in garments from Jannah. The simple white shroud you were buried in is replaced with clothing of unimaginable beauty and comfort. It's not just a change of attire, it's a transformation that reflects the purity and reward of your soul's striving. You feel wrapped in serenity, clothed in the garments of a place you longed for all your life. Then, a gate to Jannah is opened for you. Can you imagine? From your grave, you catch glimpses of paradise. A gentle breeze flows through this gate, bringing with it the fragrances of Jannah, scents that are sweet and uplifting, unlike anything you ever experienced in the world. The air carries with it a promise of the eternal peace that awaits you, and you feel joy deep within your soul. It's a feeling of relief, of having made it to a place of safety. As you continue to take in this experience, the grave itself expands. It's no longer the small, confining space it once was. Now, it stretches as far as the eye can see. Allah opens up the space for you, making it vast and spacious. It's a place where you feel free, no longer confined by the limitations of the earthly grave. This is the life of the barzakh, the life of the grave. It's a different kind of existence, one where the boundaries of the physical world no longer apply. Finally, you receive the glad tidings of Allah's pleasure. You feel it within your soul. A sense of contentment and joy knowing that your striving in life was accepted, that Allah is pleased with you. It's a moment of ultimate reassurance, a feeling that fills every part of your being with gratitude and peace. And then, as if that wasn't enough, a figure appears before you. A man with a beautiful face, dressed in a radiant garment, exuding a fragrance of sweetness, approaches. You look at him in awe and ask, "Who are you?" Because his appearance is so pleasing, so comforting. He replies, "I am your good deeds. I am your salah, your charity, your recitation of the Quran, your fasting, your struggles for the sake of Allah. I am the 2 rak'ahs you prayed in the middle of the night." This companion, your deeds personified, will stay with you in the grave, bringing comfort and company until the day of judgment. His presence is a testimony to the life you lived, the efforts you made to be a true Muslim. And there, in that vast, fragrant space of your grave, with the breeze of Jannah around you, you await the next phase of your journey, not in fear, but in hopeful anticipation. Everything that happens in the grave is a reflection of our actions in this life. It's the beginning of a new reality, one that shows us the true weight of what we used to do. You know, throughout our lives, we often get caught up in the hustle, the everyday routines, the stress of work, the allure of wealth, and the pursuit of status. It's easy to become distracted, to think that these things are what really matter. But in that moment, deep in the silence of the grave, those worldly things don't mean anything. They simply vanish, leaving only one thing behind: our deeds. Allah has promised that every soul will be questioned about what they used to do. Every action, every word, every intention, all of it will come to the surface. It's a reality that hits hard because it makes us realize that nothing escapes. The small acts of kindness, the prayers we made, the charity we gave, even when nobody was watching, they all come forward. But equally, the moments of negligence, the times we ignored the call to prayer, the harsh words we spoke, and the injustices we committed, they too will be accounted for. This is the point when you begin to see the reality of what you spent your life on. It's not about perfection. Nobody is perfect. It's about the effort, the striving, and the sincerity behind every action. You might recall times when you struggled to pray, forcing yourself out of bed for Fajr when your body begged to stay under the covers. You might remember those times when you gave in charity, even though you had your own worries about making ends meet. And those moments of reciting the Quran, seeking its guidance when the world seemed overwhelming. Those efforts were never in vain. They build up, creating a legacy that becomes clear when you are questioned in the grave. When the soul answers the questions of Munkar and Nakir correctly, it experiences that relief, that peace. The grave becomes a place of comfort, a resting place that reflects the mercy of Allah for the effort you put into your life. But it doesn't end there. Allah, in His infinite mercy, continues to shower His servant with glad tidings. First, there is the furnishing of the grave with items from Jannah. Think about that. Imagine the comfort of being surrounded by the beauty of paradise, where everything around you is a reminder of Allah's reward for your efforts. Then, you are clothed in garments from Jannah. These are not like the clothes we wear in this world. They carry with them a sense of purity, tranquility, and honor. They represent the reward for the hardships you endured, the sacrifices you made for your faith. You are wrapped in the warmth of Allah's mercy, and it feels like nothing you have ever known before. As you look around, you notice that the grave itself begins to transform. What was once a small, confined space expands. It becomes vast, stretching as far as your eyes can see. There is a sense of freedom here, a release from the constraints of the physical world. The walls of the grave seem to fade away, replaced by an openness that reflects the expansiveness of Allah's mercy. This spaciousness is not just physical. It's a spiritual freedom, a reward for the times you turn to Allah in your life, seeking His guidance and help. Then, a gate to Jannah is opened for you. Just take a moment to think about that. Right there, from your resting place, you see a glimpse of what awaits you. The breeze of paradise flows through this gate, and it's unlike any breeze you felt before. It carries the scent of gardens, flowers, and sweet fruits, filling your senses with a tranquility that washes over your soul. It's a reminder of the destination you've been striving for, the place you longed for all your life. The fragrance alone is enough to bring joy to your heart, lifting you into a state of peace and contentment. And if that wasn't enough, the ultimate glad tiding comes to you, the knowledge of Allah's pleasure. You feel it within your very being, a confirmation that your striving has been accepted. It's like a warmth that fills every part of you, a sensation of joy and reassurance. There's no greater feeling than knowing that Allah is pleased with you. It's what we all hope for, what we all yearn for, and in that moment, you taste a glimpse of its sweetness. But the blessings don't end there. As you take in this serene environment, a figure approaches you. At first, you might be a bit surprised. Who is this person, dressed so beautifully, with a face full of light and a fragrance that fills the air with sweetness? You find yourself staring, captivated by the peacefulness that radiates from this individual. And then you ask, "Who are you?" Because there's something deeply comforting about their presence. The figure smiles and responds, "I am your good deeds. I am the salah you prayed, the charity you gave, the Quran you recited. I am the fasting you undertook, the nights you spent in dua, the patience you showed in hardships. I am the kindness you spread, the truth you stood for, the modesty you upheld." Hearing these words, you realize that this beautiful companion is the embodiment of everything you worked for in life. It's your dedication, your acts of worship, and your sincerity that have taken this form to keep you company. This companion, your deeds, will stay with you until the day of judgment, bringing comfort and reassurance. It's a presence that fills your soul with ease, reminding you that none of your efforts went unnoticed. This companion becomes a constant reminder of your life's work, of the struggle to remain steadfast in a world full of distractions and trials. It tells you, without words, that every act of worship, every moment of patience, every bit of charity, and every struggle in the path of Allah was worth it. And now, in this moment of the grave, those actions come to life, offering you solace and companionship. You sit in the spaciousness of your grave, feeling the breeze from Jannah and the warmth of Allah's pleasure. There's a deep sense of calm, a tranquility that fills the space around you. With your companion of good deeds by your side, you know that whatever comes next, you have the assurance that your striving was not in vain. This is the beginning of a reward that extends beyond this life, a promise of the eternal peace that lies ahead. And so, the journey in the grave becomes a reflection of our deeds and the state of our heart. Remember, this life is fleeting, a mere preparation for what comes next. Our prayers, our acts of kindness, our sincerity, all of them will manifest when we need them the most, providing comfort and peace. Let's strive to make our hearts and actions worthy companions on that inevitable day. If you found this reminder beneficial, don't forget to share it with others. May it be a source of reflection and inspiration for us all. Until next time, stay blessed and remember, this life is but a journey towards something much greater. Assalamu alaikum.